Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of VAFA Tragics. Great to have your company for another week. Looking forward to getting stuck into the footy this week as we welcome to the desk, as he is every week, Nick Armstead. How are you?
I'm very well, Andrew. Now I need to bring this up at the start. From suit to polo shirt.
Yeah, that's right.
What's going on here?
Well, I'm on holiday, so I've actually driven back up from the beach to come in and do the show. So I think that shows dedication.
How nice of you. Where are you staying?
Just down at Portsea.
Oh, so Portsea Polo, wearing the Ralph Lauren?
Why not?
That'd be right.
Why not? No, just having a week down there with the family on school holidays, so it's nice. And yeah, I've made the trip back up on the highway to come and do the show.
No, we really appreciate it. Just sad to see you've gone from chocolate to boiled lollies, mate.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll readdress it. I forgot to take down the shirt down to the beach, so
Yeah,
I wasn't going to go home first on the way here. But anyway,
right,
good to be here. What did you like out of the weekend?
Adrian Del Monte, and I saw on social media that he has kicked his 450th goal for old Ivanhoe.
He's a superstar for
He has, and he has been for years, 167 games.
Yep.
He's still got a little bit to make up to Matt Hanley, who's running around kicking about 670, I think, and he kicked another 5 on the weekend. But when you got those two players in the competition, they're absolutely fantastic.
And of course, Dan Loletto, who tragically passed over 1,000 goals in the VAFA as well.
Correct,
so,
that's unbelievable numbers.
So we'll see how those boys go catching up with them. I liked Caitlin Greiser. We gave her a bit of a rocket last week. She made a return to the VFL senior side. Debut, sorry.
Debut.
To the VFLW senior side for the Muggers and kicked straight on the weekend.
She did 1 goal straight.
1 goal straight. That's all we wanted.
Only got one opportunity and she made it count.
She did a great job. You're seeing that on your screen now. The other thing I want to point out, a bit of a dim sim update for those that we haven't spoken about dim sims for a while. I played golf at Hillsville on the weekend. Can report there the dim sims were a very reasonable price, but also the South Melbourne Market dim sims, which I ended up having, $2.50, which is what we want to see.
Yeah, that's good.
But nothing is going to beat this from old Carey. This photo was sent through to me at the end of the game. Look at that tray of delightful dim sims being handed around free of charge to the players and patrons in the rooms. Free of charge to the patrons in the rooms. Now that is elite dim sim pricing.
And you know what I love? That they've sent it through to you. That they're getting on board Dim Sim Gate and they're making you aware that they're doing the right thing.
Exactly right. Dim Sim Festival this weekend. Make sure, I know that there's a big couple of big V games to get around, but on Saturday and Sunday, welcome to Thornbury Dim Sim Festival.
You going down?
Is the Pope a Catholic?
Yeah, that is my bad. I'm just filthy with big V games this weekend.
No, exactly right. Dim Sim Festival, make sure you get there, and we want to see as many photos and stuff from all around the country. The Follicle's gone missing in recent weeks as well.
He has, been into return.
Yeah. Winning Buck Premier section action. Old Zavs and Old Scotch, it was a massive game, and Zavs just came out on top quite comfortable in the end.
Absolutely, and it was a bit of a surprise given that Old Scotch have won 4 games on the trot, but they gained the ascendancy in a heated first half. There was a lot of niggle, as we've come to expect from these two teams. It was 6 goals to 4, but I think their 16 scoring shots to 9 was a clearer indicator of the dominance of Zavs all over the ground, and they just continued that for the rest of the game. Matt Hanley and Lucas Sokio kicked 4 goals each, and they're now one of 4 teams on 4 wins down the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah, it's amazing. De La Salle's another one of those teams on 4 wins now. They won a game they had to win against OMs, and OMs trying to work their way back into the 4. Can't quite do it. They've lost a few games on the trot now, OMs, but De La Salle, massive win for them.
Yeah, OMs are notoriously not very good at Waverley Oval, and De La Salle took full advantage of that. They'd lost their past 4 in a row, sitting 9th on the ladder, so they really needed it. Brodie McLaughlin, who's been fantastic since he went to De La this year, kicked 4 goals, and Brendan Close was best on ground yet again, and that's 2 weeks in a row.
How's your experience at Old Brighton? Obviously, they're missing a number of players. You've got some numbers there and stats on exactly the makeup of their 22 on the weekend as they went down to the Tigers, who have also rebounded with 2 wins on the trot. But the Tunners just lacking depth at the moment.
We've heard and we all know about the amount of players that have either gone overseas or are playing VFL or are just injured at the moment, like Captain Harry Hill. But 8 of their 22 that played on the weekend have played 3 games or less, and 3 of them debuted. So they've got absolutely no experience at the moment, so they're running around, and I know that they've had a bit of a call to arms from the school to get players even into their under-19s team. So while it's a great opportunity to get these young players who are playing 19s debut at senior level, they are going to struggle for the next couple of weeks until they do start to get some of these players back.
Some Bs though, can they get out of the bottom 4? I'm sure. In fact, we'll address that in the big question. So stick around for that. Whether some Bs can get.
What about that? Josh Cowan, 4 goals as well. A week after being here.
2 times on the Tragics. Yeah, exactly.
Speaks for itself.
Top of the table clash was an exciting one at St Kevin's College as well. The Scobs got out to a pretty comfortable lead by 3/4 time. Collegians came back at them, but going down by just 7 points. Good signs for Collegians, I reckon, going into September.
My question to you, based on this, now they've already met, and they're probably going to meet come September, at least in that second semi-final. How much do both these coaches really care about the outcome of this game? How much do they give away at this stage of the season?
Well, that's a good point, really. I mean, you're probably not playing all your cards. Collegians obviously been not decimated, but hurt by injury to a lot of key players. Their ability to get that close in what is a really important game for St Kevin's at the College. They like winning it there. They want to always win when they play it at the College, and they've had some misfortune in recent years playing at the College.
It hasn't
been a happy hunting ground.
No.
But I think good signs for Collegians going into September. Old Trinity and Uni Blues, we're going to take a hold there. The Tees had a 4-point win. The Blues just, again, struggling to get the win. They had opportunities. They had the lead, had the advantage, and Old Trinity responded and came back. Luke Pacconi is going to join us at the desk to talk all about that game later in the show, so stick around for that if you're a Tees fan. Looking at Premier B, St Burns and Uni Blacks was also a top-of-the-table clash, and the Burnies have just made top spot their own now.
Well, they just blew the Blacks away in the first quarter with 7-1. They kicked the first 6 of the game. Chad Jones kicked 3 of his 5 for the day in that first quarter, and it was just playing catch-up for the Blacks from there on. They'd kick 1 or 2 goals in a row, but then they'd realise they're still probably 5 goals behind, sort of thing. So it was one of those days where the Blacks did come back a little bit, but the Burnies flexed their muscle, and they've got stars on every line. Tom Sullivan's playing very, very well, and with Michael Caven joining Chad Jones up forward. Now, Chad Jones, I've been asked recently, is he the best player in Premier B? Now, I don't want to put you on the spot, but the way he's playing at the moment...
Presently, he might be. He might be at the moment. But, and we probably don't give the due credit to the forwards. Often it's the mids that always get the recognition. Monash Blues breathed life into their season with a great win over the Vultures.
Oh, absolutely. They were trailing at both the first and second breaks, but the Blues kicked 7-5 in a tightly contested second half. They're now 10th still, but they're just one game behind Ajax, Haileybury and Mazenod, while the Vultures are 6th with 4 wins. So they've won 2, and could they possibly... Now, at the start of the year, first half of the year, we would never have said they were possibly going to miss relegation.
It'd be Houdini-like if they escaped this.
Correct, but it is, mathematically, it is possible that they could if they continue this form. I know they're playing Haileybury this weekend, so that's a huge match.
Well, it's a massive game, particularly considering Haileybury also had a big win on the weekend, beating Ajax to throw them back into the mix as well for that descent back to Premier C. By Morris thrashed Mazenod, which wasn't a good look for the Nodders, but... No. Certainly for old Haileybury to get that win over the Jackers, great result. They
didn't take the lead for the entire match until the 28th minute of the fourth quarter. Ajax got back in front, and Johnny Nikolopoulos kicked a goal late in the game to win them the match. But boosted on by Morris, they're now 2 games clear of Caulfield in 4th spot, so they've probably secured themselves a finals berth, I would have thought. Yeah, the field's going down to a spirited old Carey at Dunshea Oval as well. In Premier C, Pegs' win over Old Geelong was a sight to behold. Unbelievable. So these are 2 tightly contested sides. They're 2 sides that will be playing off for 4th spot, but a massive win for Pegs. With 2 minutes left, Adrian Romanik has come from absolutely nowhere to take a great pack mark, couple of goes at it. As you can see on your screen, he went back, nailed the set shot. He celebrated accordingly, like he's become accustomed to doing, and it was and they held it for the last 2 minutes. But a great win for Pegs. They now move up to 5th place and on the same amount of premiership points as Ogs. Yeah, we do love the celebrations, so get around those. Right, that's a wrap on the Premier sections. We're going to talk VAFA Women's after this. Lucy Lekic will join us at the decks.
Anytime is the right time to get fit at Anytime Fitness. Access over 400 gyms across the country 24/7 and discover why more Australians train at Anytime Fitness than any other gym. Go online and register now for your free 7-day pass and feel something better.
Welcome back to the Tragics. Time to talk VAFA Women's, VAFA Women's. Lucy Lekic, how are you?
I'm well, Lenny, how are you?
What's been happening? How'd you go on the weekend?
I was the runner for Caulfield. I didn't actually play due to potential concussion from the previous week.
That's no good. So
I'm not actually
you okay?
Sure. I don't know. I'm going to have to get clearance from the doctor next week.
How'd you find running? Oh, sorry, you took medical first.
No, I was going to say, is there a chance you might have to come back with the lid on?
Potentially. If I come back, I think I'm going to be wearing a helmet. I don't think I could play now without it.
So did you get knocked out in the incident that happened a couple of weeks ago?
It wasn't just one incident. There were numerous ones. So a couple of different head knocks to here, and I don't know. So I was a bit dazed and dizzy after the game. So you're in
a holding pattern now. Don't know when you necessarily come back?
Yeah, I don't know when yet. However, I'm happy to be the runner. That was great fun.
How'd you enjoy being the runner?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I liked
do you give lip to the opposition and all that sort of thing?
Oh, not yet.
Gotta
practice.
You should have asked Lenny for some advice. He's been around a couple of times and very successful at doing so.
Yeah.
2 wins from 2, so
absolutely.
It's probably the way to do it. Lucy, tell us about VAFA Women's. What was the games that stood out on the weekend?
So probably the game in the round was Q taking on Old Trinity. Old Trinity had a pretty decent back end of the season. They've strung a few wins together. However, it was not to be this time around. Q narrowly got over the top of them, further cementing their top 4 spot third on the ladder now, and that was a Vic Park, and it was a really close one.
Yeah, so Q showing good signs. Ran close to the Muggers a few weeks ago, but they're building, I feel. But are they a chance to threaten? That's probably the question.
I mean, they've got a couple of those gun players. They've got Danny Claudy. On the weekend, she got 27 touches and 2 goals. And Michaela, 26 touches as well. And then also another girl, Lily Barr, had a great game with 19 and a goal. So
do you think they can actually threaten a full-strength Melbourne Uni, though, when it comes down to it?
If I were tipping that game, I don't think so. Yeah. I think Melbourne Uni, when they have that full squad in, that they're sort of too good compared to any of the other teams. However, Q, there's a slight chance if they've got all their players working together and they play their best footy, then anyone's a chance.
You have to go into
finals,
particularly finals, neutral ground. You're a chance. Which other games were the highlights out of the round?
Probably, I don't want to sound too biased because I talk about Caulfield, but Melbourne Uni took on Caulfield, and Caulfield were leading at quarter time and 3/4 time, and I was obviously there, so I could witness the action. I mean, it was unbelievable. Bottom of the ladder versus second, should be first potentially, arguably. So that was quite notable and impressive from the Fields, and narrowly lost in the end.
So you girls a bit disappointed in the end, or just happy that you got so close? What was the feeling?
I think it was more a relief we did so well. However, also a bit upset not to get that result in the end. But, across the board, when I look at the match, I think Melbourne Uni had the better ball skills, better movement, and better marking, kicking, all of that. So they probably deserved it in the end. But it was a really good effort from our girls.
On the fields, do you think it's something they'd like to stay in the Premier section again next year, or are they prepared to, be moved into a new section in years to come?
I think that they would love to stay in this section again.
Yep.
Just for the next season, see if they can back up that form, but then, potentially move into it.
It's an interesting one with the women's footy. That it's not necessarily promotion and relegation
just
yet. It is graded every single year. So it's an interesting one. Obviously, you're learning it, but we do know from watching it and where we recruited the rep players from that it's mostly from the Premier sections.
Mm. And do you reckon, I just want to ask you, if the top 4 can change? Now, I know Fitzroy had a good win on the weekend against Scob Saints, but there's still a couple of wins above Fitzroy. Do you reckon that's going to change before the end of the season?
I think the top 4, it's been close for pretty much the whole season, Melbourne Uni, Q, Scob and Marceline. They're all either on 8 or 7 wins apiece, so I think Marcelin's going to stay in that top spot because they have the easiest run home. But those other 3 spots could change easily, and second spot's up for grabs in the remaining 3 rounds of the season.
Good on you, Lucy. Have a good week.
Thanks,
hope the head gets well.
Thank you.
Good
Hope so too.
Lucy Lekic joining us there. Luke Pacconi is going to join us from Old Trinity up next at the desk. Welcome back to the Tragics. As we mentioned, Old Trinity's co-captain Luke Pacconi is at the desk. How are you, Luke?
Thanks, gents. Good.
Now, I've adjusted the pronunciation of the name. Obviously, it's been a much discussed issue for Nick and I here at the desk.
Yep.
I believe Nick's been correct the whole time.
Yes, he has, actually.
Mind you, I probably asked you a couple of media days ago, so I probably had the upper hand there because I asked him to his face and I actually got there. I just let you run with Pacconi.
Yeah, just sowing me down the garden path there.
Yeah.
Great to come in after a win, and you're in the 4. So
yes,
things are feeling good at Old Trinity.
Yeah. No, it's look, we've had a bit of a tough block, but we've gotten through it. And like I said, we're in a spot where we think we're in striking distance of the teams above us, and we're starting to play good football. So
it's a cliche-free zone on this show, so we're just going to just pull you up there and say, readjust, be more relaxed and casual. Tell us about how good the T's are. Tell us about how good you are as a player. That's what we want to see here.
Okay.
Deal. Well, take us through the game on the weekend. You were 4 goals down at half time, and you've obviously worked your way back into it. What changed in the second half?
I think it's interesting because we are a notoriously bad start. We start really poorly, and it's just.
But that's been for a few years.
Yeah,
as well.
I just it's I don't know what it is. I really don't. I speak to Bernie about it all the time, and Harry Tinney. Like, what do we need to do to change it up? It's the Uni Blues are obviously a quality team, and it was a big game, so it was a lot on the line. They just come out really hard early, and then. I think we just backed ourselves in terms of our process and making sure, we did the right things and just slowly, if we're in striking distance 3/4 time, that we can win any game because we've got that fitness base. You know, we did a pretty big pre-season and we can just back ourselves on a big ground just to overrun teams, and that's what we did.
Is that the main message from Bernie since he's come in the pre-season? Is just run sort of stuff? Because that seems to be what you've got back this year that you maybe lacked last year.
Yeah, look, we've got like biggest pre-season, you know, I reckon I've done in my time at the club, and a lot of players would say the same thing. He's just really focused on, I guess, the fitness side, but also the mental toughness as well, like pushing through when you are hurting. And we really want to make sure that we win a lot of games at home, and that's kind of, you know, using the space, and that's what we did well. And he's obviously seen the size of the daily and said, boys, you gotta run, and that's kind of what it is.
Let's wind the clock back a bit. How many players are still playing that have played in a couple of those grand final losses?
There'd be a few. It'd be probably more than half the team. Yeah.
There's still a really core group there that'd be burning from those.
Yeah, absolutely. And even if you wind back probably 2 years prior, the B grade 2013 grand final.
That's
you know,
right.
So we lost 3 grand finals in 4 years.
And they're all close.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Two goals, under 2 goals essentially. So
Yep.
we've still got that core group, and like we identified that at the end of last year, like we need to be an A grade because we still have the group. To really kind of make an impact.
So how do you go again? Like, obviously, you've taken up leadership responsibilities in the last couple of years. You actually coached the side last year. We'll ask you about that in a second. But how do you energise a team that's been so close so many times?
Yeah, I think obviously last year it was kind of, it was just tough.
Yep.
Mental, I think it was more a mental side of thing. Blokes were just knackered,
Yep.
essentially. Big runs, but it's just falling short. But I think this year, just Bernie's enthusiasm to the group and just a change. It was just amazing. Like, he come down and he had it all ready to go, and he goes, I just need the blokes to come down and do the work. And the commitment that we got from, you know, our top 50 players was unbelievable. First night of training, we had 60 on the track, and we're averaging, you know, 50 to 60 for the whole pre-season. So his enthusiasm and his kind of take on the game and how he wants us to play, it just, you know, changed everything essentially.
I want to ask you about Bernie's enthusiasm. Is it true? He's an intense unit. I think we can all admit he's a pretty intense unit. Is it true that at quarter time of Old Brighton, he actually took you boys into the change rooms to give you a bit of a spray after a slow start?
Yes. I just remember coming off the ground and...
So you're jogging over to where the huddle would normally be. So how did the message go? Head to the rooms, boys.
I think he was already in there. And Macca, our senior assistant, goes, boys, get in the gym. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was trailing, so I was like, come on, let's go. And yeah, we all ran in, and all the supporters are kind of looking around going, what's going on here? And I think even the umpires were kind of going, what's going on here? And then we went in there and, it was firm words.
Yep,
So.
fair enough. So when you run out to your position to start the second quarter, what's your Old Brighton opponent saying, you know? Do you guys think it was half time or something?
They didn't actually say anything, so I was surprised because I was waiting for someone to say, like me, to say something smart, but nothing was said.
Nothing was said, right?
Yeah.
When you started playing, when you first came down to the club after finishing school and all that sort of thing, obviously you've got a great group of guys that are coming through. Did you think you'd be playing footy for this long, or is it in your blood to want to still be playing?
I don't know. I just kind of go. I don't kind of say I want to play it to a certain age. I just kind of, if I'm enjoying it still, and as we don't get paid to play, but I love the group, and I actually didn't go to the school, and was kind of recruited down, and I haven't really left because it's just a good club, good group of guys, good culture, smaller club. Absolutely love it down there, and part of the furniture now, because I've been here for about 12, 13 years. So.
Yeah, you're obviously one of the hardest defenders in the VAFA and have been for a number of years now. You would have had a lot of good one-on-one battles.
Yeah.
I remember we spoke a couple of years ago, and Brendan Goss was one of those. Would he be one of the better players you've manned up against, or who are the people that you look forward to going up against when you know that you see them on the fixture?
Gossy and I have pretty good battles. I've played against him for years now, and it's just a mutual respect for each other. He's certainly one of the hardest. He's just like, they just give him good service all the time, and he's their focal point with Chopper, so it's always a tough matchup. I guess the other ones are, I played on Tim Harper on the weekend. He's come across from, I think, Noble Park. I really respect his work rate. I've played on him twice now, and I also played on Kieran last year. And again, like, just the work rate. Just got to be, concentrating for 120 minutes. But also, I think the thing is, like, the competition is just such an even spread of good forwards. Like, you don't have that real standout, and you know, I think in my opinion, like in A grade, every forward can do damage. Whether it's the best forward or the sixth best forward, it's just whatever matchup I get, I kind of just
Do you
roll
get
with
the
it.
big boys every now and again, don't you?
Yeah, I play taller. Not too tall, but I can go a bit taller and blokes are a bit bigger than me. I think now getting a bit older, the smaller blokes are a bit kind of hard to contain. So.
Coaching, had a dabble last year. What were your thoughts on it and that experience? And is there a future in it for you?
I think it was nerve-wracking, I guess, the situation they were in at the time. Definitely keen to kind of look into it when I finished playing. But I think when Brendan and I were still playing and trying to do it, it was just, it was really stressful. So probably didn't enjoy it to the full extent. I reckon that you could when you just.
I don't think it gets any less stressful when you.
Yeah, I think it was just it was a lot going on, a lot on the line. So it was a bit of a kind of a mental 6 weeks. But yeah, definitely keen to kind of look into it.
All right, on to the fun stuff because we love your graphic work at Old Trinity, and Nick's a massive fan of you doing that. How does that process work? Do you get a message from someone going, "We need you to knock up a little graphic for this," or is it? You just take it on board yourself?
So the committee, Jake Steinert, who plays, he's on the committee and he's kind of heads up kind of our, I guess, social and play kind of aspect of things. And we just spoke about kind of how do we just make our social media better. And I kind of said, look, we'll just get a process in place and sort it all out. And then I do it every Sunday, got a kind of a list of, the best players, player of the week, and a graphic, and just kind of whip it up on a Sunday night and have it all ready to go and just shoot it off during the week. So.
Well, obviously one of the best things Old Trinity's come out with this year are the player profiles.
Yeah.
And I was reading your own just before, head honcho of the milkman.
Yeah.
You have a 5 a.m. gym sessions, and your superpower would be super strength. So can you take us through your routine? Because it has got back to me that you are quite the gym junkie early in the morning.
Yeah. I get up quite early to go to the gym. So I'm in there on non-training nights about 5 in the morning.
Just isn't it an addiction, is it?
Yeah,
This is something that I've never understood.
think,
I don't think
it's fun.
It doesn't look like you've ever understood it either.
It's funny. I got down to the club first, and I remember Andrew Ramsden saw me, and I was this skinny kid, and he goes, "Mate, you need to get in the gym," and I was like, "Yeah, okay, fair enough." And then I haven't looked back since. So.
Yeah, fair enough. So it is an addiction.
Yeah, no, I just for me it prepares me for game day and playing on bigger blokes, but also just being confident for my body, just being durable as well, not getting injured. So I just love it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Can we play a quick game with you? Just give true or false to a couple of questions.
Okay. Here we go.
Do you refer to yourself as the black hole because forwards disappear when they're near you? And are you the only bloke at the club who does?
Harry Thompson. Is this Harry Thompson stitch up?
Can't say.
No, I do not.
Now, apparently you're an emotional man and you cried when you addressed the players for the last time as coach.
No.
True or false?
False.
All right, we've only got one more. We've only got one more. This is either a stitch up of him or me right now. You were left to cook the pasta bake on a Thursday night. You were injured, so you couldn't train with the boys. And apparently you burnt it so bad that there had to be an emergency order of pizza just so the boys could get a feed.
That's false.
So none of that's true.
None of that's
None
true.
of that's true.
He's just pulling your leg here.
The black hole, surely.
No.
Well, you might see yourself referred to that in the near
I
future.
don't mind the black hole, actually. It's not bad.
Luke, it's been great having you
No,
on.
thank you.
Good luck to
Cheers,
Old
boys.
Trinity. Are you going to make the run for it in finals this year, I reckon?
Yeah,
You take on Collisions and St Kevin's?
Yeah, we can match it. Yeah, definitely.
Good on you. Luke Pacconi, the co-captain of
Cheers,
Old
boys.
Trinity, joining us at the
Thanks,
desk.
thanks.
Back with all the social media, big questions and best and worst case scenario after this.
Anytime is the right time to get fit at Anytime Fitness. Access over 400 gyms across the country 24/7 and discover why more Australians train at Anytime Fitness than any other gym. Go online and register now for your free 7-day pass and feel something better.
Welcome back to the Tragics. Time now to take a look around the grounds of all the best use of social media and ask some big questions. Nick, what do you want to kick us off with on social this week?
I want to look at the women of the VAFA and the 2 years they've been
unusual
there
for
and
you.
how they've changed. Correct, it is. And I just want to look at how they've changed a few things. Like now we see, and we spoke about it earlier in the show, jumping up and down while singing the song, as you can see old man Tony and's girls on the
They
weekend.
do that, the girls, don't they? They really jump and get into the song.
They do, and you know what? I don't know if you've seen the Big V footage of the boys. boys, but a few of them have taken that on board.
Yep.
You see George Burberry, Courtney Hilton all jumping up there. So the women are having an impact on the boys here. I'm loving it.
I think when the guys sing the song at the end of a game, it's probably the only time that men sing when they haven't had a few drinks.
Correct. It probably is.
Whereas the girls have there's a few odd bods that have a sing in the shower and stuff like that. But yeah.
There you get that. So the enthusiasm is what they're bringing.
Exactly
I'm absolutely
right.
loving
Yep,
it.
mate,
Obviously, so my second example, obviously the infamous drinking the Verve, the old Geelong girls after the Lightning Premiership.
Yeah, you're a big fan of that.
And now there's something new that I saw on the weekend. The St Bede's Mentone Tigers girls, they've uploaded a photo of about 8 of the girls spruiking Bondi Sands fake tan. Now, we've never seen this before with the boys, but they just gave a bit of a shout out saying they're a bit of a walking promo for Bondi Sands. I know the owner of Bondi Sands even liked it himself. So, stuff we haven't seen before that I'm absolutely loving. So, that goes to the St Bede's Mentone Tigers girls.
Very good. I'm a bit more rudimentary. I'm taking a look at Paran Assumption. The Two Blues team have put together this masterpiece of young Joey Whiting, who's kicked 0-6 on the weekend. And in a tribute to him, they've got him kicking like the Can girls there. With a beautiful photoshopped effort.
Maybe you should give up on the goal kicking and start dancing, you reckon?
Possibly. I think that might be what they're intimating, but yeah, good work from Paran Assumption. Right, into the quick questions. Nick, kick us off.
Andrew, has the break come at an inconvenient time for Parkside after they've won 6 games on the trot?
Oh, I reckon at any time you're on a winning streak, it's challenging. It depends who they've got this week. Who have they got this week?
Don't know.
Oh, well, no. They'll have the break and it'll be good for them, and they'll reload again and go for the finals. But good little run from Parkside as well. Has the break come at a convenient time for Glen Ira?
I think it has.
All break questions here.
Now, because Glen Ira obviously one of the 2 sides that are undefeated alongside All Paradians, but they've trailed away in the last 2 weeks. They've had their 2 lowest scores, and they've only won both those games against Aquinas and Manningham Cobblers by 5 points.
Hawthorn will roll them later in the year.
Yeah, well, if Glen Ira don't want to be rolled, they need to use this break to their advantage.
You've got to drop a game. You can't go through a season undefeated.
And I think they'll be fine. Now, I'm going back to you. What's the lowest number of wins? Because I don't know. What is the lowest number of wins to ever make the top 4 in Premier?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I don't know it either. I think it's worth looking up because I still think Old Brighton can miss the finals. They've got 8 wins at the moment. You're thinking they can hold on.
Yeah.
Maybe they win one more. That's 9 wins, and that might get them a spot in 4th. The problem is they've got no one below them coming up. We've got Trinity there as well. Old Melburnians there, but there's a host of teams on 4 wins. They're 4 wins away from going past Old Brighton.
So over the past 4 or 5 years, I think it is, you need to average about 10.1 wins.
Yep.
But it's certainly not going to be that this year. Granted, exactly what you just said.
Yep.
There aren't those teams that are coming up other than Trinity.
Yep. Well, Trinity are there. They're still 10 points behind it. 2.5 games behind Old Brighton. So, yeah, it's a strange one. But their run home, we looked at it last week. I reckon they might not win a game for the rest of the year, Old Brighton, particularly with the players that they got out of the side.
They'll be right. They'll get them back. They'll be right.
Right, finally, can the Tigers, also in Premier, St Bede's Mentone, get out of the bottom 2?
Now, 2 weeks ago, I would never have said yes. Absolutely, I'm happy to put my hand up. But now I do think that they possibly can. They've obviously played in Battle Brighton on the weekend, had a big win, but the win over Zavs, the 1-point win 2 weeks ago, was the clincher because now they've got a game against Old Trinity coming up, which I don't think they'll win, and I don't think
where?
At St Bede's.
At the Brindisi,
I think Trinity will still get them there.
Luke will probably have other words with us off air afterwards.
Yeah, he probably will. Watching it. St Kevin's, I don't think they'll beat, but then I reckon they can win their last 4 games of the year. And I think if they can win, obviously, their last 4 games, they're certainly going to miss the bottom 2. They've got OMs away.
Won't win that.
They've got Blues at home.
Could win that.
They've got Scotch at home in round 17,
Winnable,
which I think they'll win. And then in round 18, they've got De La Salle. That could be
where?
the game. I think that'll be away. So I think that will be the game that will sort maybe 8th from 9th.
Yeah, the thing is, they're only a game behind 3 other teams, so they're a chance. Rightio. Big V games this weekend, Prem Beta Div 4 and Under-19s matches. Get to Trevor Barker Oval on Saturday for those contests. Best on grounds and spirit of the Big V Awards.
Very excited about this. Huge. We can go 4 from 4 if we get two wins on the weekend. So best on ground for the Beta Div 4, I'm going to give to Charlie Dillon from Parkdale Vultures. He's primed, he's a big body, he's going to throw his weight around early in the midfield, and I think he will get it done. And for the under-19s, I'm going down to St Kevin's to Cam Hodges, only because I watched him live a couple of weeks ago, and he was the best player on the ground. He was playing outstanding, albeit pretty poor mullet he's running at the moment, but he's playing fantastic footy.
Nick Ebinger will win the Best On Ground award from the CYs. He's had a great year, and I think he'll play really well in this Prem B to Div 4 side. And Charlie Thompson from the Panthers will be the under-19 star to stand out. You're going to give spirits because
I love the Spirit.
Yeah, I know you love the Spirit. I'm just not sure how to vote for it. Like it's a lucky dip, isn't it?
So it goes to the most courageous player
I understand the principles of it.
So it can go. See, what I love about this is that the Best On Grounds, like the Brownlow, like a Best and Fairest, it goes to a midfielder more often than not. But the Spirit can go to a defender who hasn't had a goal kicked on him, much like Luke Pacconi would never have a goal kicked on him.
He's a Spirit.
There could be forwards who just make a contest. And so I love the Spirit of the Big V. So I think for B to Div 4, I'm giving it to the centre-half back, Fitzroy's Max Alice. He's had a sensational year, and I think he'll be a leader. And I'm going to give it also to another Fitzroy for the under-19s, Nino Lazaro. He'll kick 5 goals, he'll embody the Big V, he'll show courage, and he'll do everything that I love about the award.
Good calling on the weekend. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Nick. Thanks to everyone for watching. We'll see you again next week on The Tragics.